Manan. Si Karo natin discuss will be pharma. So today we'll be talking about antiretroviral drugs. Last na ba HIV ang topic? Fourth ba din siya? Advance na gano'n. Sige. So, turn by monthly topics. Mana mo discuss? See. So today we'll be talking about antiretroviral drugs. Siguro karon dili pa ninyo siya di pa ninyo siya ma-focusan no kaya yung inyo ang mind dapat sa third and monthly topics. Okay lang na. Pero let's just talk about the important parts sa antiretroviral drugs. So kani siya medyo boring siya ang topic, kailangan siya basahon lang, dili siya kailangan wala kayo siya yung mga clinical applications yun na ma-share na ako, no? Mas channel to if si Dr. Dr. Salon, no? So mas channel yung discussion kasi Dr. Salon, naging siya experience siya may head sa HIV, dili sa Cagayan, no? Sa NMMC. So yung lecture, siya mas nakabalo niya topic. Ako more on drugs lang and ito rin nasa inyo ang book. So reference, Goodman and Gilman, 14th ed, along with HIV/AIDS nga updated guidelines 2024. So introduction lang, what are viruses? Or viruses are obligate intracellular parasites. Kung pasabot, they depend entirely on the host cell. If wala yung host cell, dili sila maka-replicate, dili sila maka-function. They cannot reproduce independently outside the host cell, and they exploit the cellular biosynthetic pathways for their own replication. Infection may be acute, latent, or chronic persistent. So again, for a virus to function, they require a host cell, mammalian host cell, to reproduce and create new viruses. Next, antiviral agents are agents that inhibit virus-specific replicative events. They can either block entry or exit out of the cell, they interfere with viral activity within the cell, or target viral enzymes not present in the host cell. Now, we have what we call the principle of selective toxicity, wherein antivirals must selectively target viral processes without harming the host cell. Because the virus is dependent on the host cell machinery, and ideal targets are virus-encoded enzymes, reverse transcriptase, protease, integrase, absent in human cells. So it was made in such a way nga, ang virus lang yan i-target, dili appeal ang host cell, because again, dili mo i-harm ang host cell. So next for HIV, this is a family of retroviruses with single-stranded RNA genome. And there are two families, HIV-1 and HIV-2. HIV-1 ang kanang common, the global pandemic, while HIV-2 is more on sa West Africa and it is less virulent. So disease course is chronic persistent infection with gradual onset of symptoms of AIDS. So it is a progression of symptoms, no? From asymptomatic to symptoms of AIDS, which occur up to 10 years. Now, tropism control, so we have envelope protein GP160. So GP160 is your pro-envelope protein. It is cleaved into GP120 and GP41 that controls cell entry. So, kanang cleave na nimo ang 120 binds to the CD4 receptor and that co-receptor such as your CCR5 and CXCR4. While your GP41 appeal sa na-cleave is responsible for the fusion of viral lipid bilayer with the host cell membrane. So ang GP120, attach lang sa cell. Ang GP41, merge siya with the cell para makasulod ang virus. Kailangan siya of membrane fusion. So more than 39 million people are living with HIV globally. This is a census from 2023, and more than 29 million are on antiretroviral therapy. Now, the goal of our antiviral therapy therapy is to have a viral load of 0. And we have the concept of undetectable means it is untransmittable. But it doesn't mean na undetectable, it doesn't mean that HIV has been cured. Because again, there has been no cure for HIV and only disease control. So this is a figure lifted from Katsumata Nisha. So this shows the virus life cycle, not HIV life cycle. So first we have here the mature HIV, nascent GP160, and GP160 will cleave into GP120 and GP41. Again, GP120 is responsible for the binding to the CD4 receptors and to the CXCR4 and CCR5 receptor, specific for your HIV. Now, after binding, it undergoes attachment and fusion. So, for binding, we have medications that targets the binding of the HIV to the CD4 of the lymphocyte. Next, after binding, it undergoes fusion. So, it fuses the lipid bilayer from the virus, fuses with the cell membrane of your host cell, allowing the entry of your virus inside the cytoplasm. Now, for fusion, we also have different methods targeting fusion, viral fusion. Now, once the virus is inside the cytoplasm of the host cell, it undergoes uncoating. So, bubuo niya yung envelope leading to your single-stranded RNA. So, in the cytoplasm, your single-stranded RNA will be transcribed. So we have an enzyme called reverse transcriptase, and this makes HIV unique now because it undergoes reverse transcription. The regular transcription is from DNA to RNA. Kaning sa ato ang HIV, baliktad siya, reverse transcription, because it creates DNA from RNA. So, from the reverse transcription, it forms a double-stranded DNA. So we have medications targeting the reverse transcription. Then next, after transcription of the double-stranded DNA, it will enter into the nucleus and integrate into the host cell DNA through your enzyme called integrase. So once the viral DNA integrates into the host cell DNA, pag mag-make na yung host cell o mga regular proteins niya, maghimo po siya o proteins for the HIV nga virus. So, ingana ka-dependent ang viruses sa cell. Dili siya maka-reproduce kung wala siya na incorporate sa to ang host cell nga DNA. Now, we have medications targeting the integration or the strand transfer to your host cell DNA. So we have integrase inhibitors. Now, if wala pa din na target, naka-replicate, naka-himo pa din siya proteins from your host cell na function, so it creates proteins, then it undergoes assembly and bonding. So kanang assembly and bonding, kanang proteins, iyang i-assemble, may mo siyang immature virions. So at that time, kung immature virions pa siya, dili pa siya infective. It will only become infective if the protease cleaves the polyprotein into its active forms, forming the HIV nga virus. It then goes out of the cell and spreads to other lymphocytes. So now, medications targeting your protease which is called your protease inhibitors. And that's what we will be discussing today, Kapitanan. So again, ito lang balik ko itong steps, no? So first step is binding and attachment. GP120 binds to CD4, then it binds to the CCR5 and CXCR4 co-receptors. After binding, we have entry inhibitors which target this step. After binding, it undergoes membrane fusion. So ang viral lipid bilayer fuses with your host cell membrane para makasulod ang virus sa cytoplasm sa cell. And this is mediated by your glycoprotein 41 from your virus, allowing entry into the cell membrane, and the viral core enters the cytoplasm. So we have the fusion inhibitors like your enforvertide, which targets the fusion stem. Next, after entering to the cytoplasm, maghubo ang virus. That's what we call uncoating. And once makahubo na siya, the viral RNA is released. Now, ang goal from the viral RNA, single-stranded RNA, we form a double-stranded DNA via your reverse transcriptase. So what makes this unique again? It is RNA to DNA, but this process is error-prone. It is very prone to mutations, and this implies that kung very prone to mutations, very prone to resistance to medications. So that's why is na-discuss sa inyo ang HIV nga mga medication, it always comes in combinations. Mura siya o TB gihapon. For the main reason nga, para ma-prevent ang resistance. So multiple drugs na siya. And in fact, kung makastop na ganyan 1 day sa mga antiretroviral or 2 days, dili na siya pwede gamitin again. Kaya mag-develop na og resistance. So muna siya problem sa HIV nga antiretroviral therapy. Especially katong mga NNRTIs, which we will discuss later, isa lang mas single mutation, wala na, resistant na diretso ang virus to the medication. Next, once naka-form ng double-stranded DNA, it will be transported into the nucleus, then the integrase transfers the viral double-stranded DNA into the host chromosome. And we have our integrase inhibitors which target that step. Now, once makalusot na gid siya sa imuhang host cell na DNA, host RNA polymerase transcribes the proviral DNA. So katong DNA nga gikan sa reverse transcription, iyan ang ipang transcribe and translate into proteins. So for this step, no drug directly targets this. So once nakamake na siya og mga viral proteins, there will be assembly of viral proteins and RNA at the cell membrane. So after assembling, they are still immature virion buds, still non-infectious at this stage. Then, wala pa gyapoy medications for this. Lastly, from immature virion, once there is proteolysis, or when the protease cleaves the polyprotein, the structural proteins will reorganize and become a mature and fully infectious virion. So the cleaving or the cleavage is targeted by our protease inhibitors para dili siya ma-active, siya ang magpugong sa last step. So ito siya i-discuss one by one. Treatment goals for antiretroviral therapy is undetectable viral load less than 50 copies per ml within 24 weeks or 6 months. Now, we can consider the treatment regimen as a failure if after 6 months there is persistent HIV RNA of more than 200 copies per ml. Now, all the steps in the pathway have corresponding antiretroviral drug or antiretroviral agents. So for treating HIV, that we use combination of antiretroviral drugs. So usually 2 to 3 agents for initial treatment, then 2 to 3 agents for maintenance. So this will reduce the replication and increase likelihood of resistance. Muna dapat multiple drug classes. Now, ang very common na combination will be duha ka NRTI plus isa ka integrase strand transfer inhibitor. So magiging sila duha ang combination. Ang pinaka-common yun, tenofovir plus emtricitabine plus dolutegravir. Muna siya ang pinaka-common na antiretroviral. Muna ang first line karon for antiretroviral therapy. Before, it used to be 2 NRTIs plus NNRTI. Specifically ang efavirenz. Pero ang problem sa NNRTIs is that later on we will discuss very prone to mutation. So isa lang ka-missed dose, hindi mo siya magamit na yun because the virus will develop resistance to the NNRTI. So let's start for the flow of our discussion. we will follow the life cycle of the virus, no? So let's start with the N3 inhibitors. So N3 inhibitors block HIV before they enter the cell. So we have here attachment inhibitors. This targets the CD4 receptor interaction, preventing HIV from attaching to or entering the host cell upstream of the co-receptor binding. And a drug that does this will be your fostemsavir. So the mechanism of action, it binds directly to the GP120, glycoprotein 120 of the virus, and prevents its attachment to the CD4 receptor, blocking the cell entry. So, ang pinaka-first step yun i-inhibit, no? So, di na siya makaabot atong CXCR4, CCR5. Pag CD4 receptor pa lang, iyan ang i-block because i-bind siya sa protein, sa glycoprotein sa virus. So, again, the drug acts on the virus, ha? Dili siya ga-act sa host cell membrane. It acts on the glycoprotein of your virus. Now, so again, kani mga entry inhibitors, hindi sila mga first line. Usually, these are only used in multi-drug resistant HIV-1 cases. So our pharmacokinetic advantage is not altered by food or gastric pH, no renal or hepatic dose adjustment required. Adverse effect will be increased liver enzymes, especially with hepatitis B and hepatitis C co-infection, and prolonged QT intervals at high doses. So again, kani siya dili kayo ni siya used unless na nakasa end sa imuhang treatment regimen kung na-resistant na sa mga first line. So again, kinsa magpili, kinsa nila pili na kung kinsa ang first line of drugs, kinsa ang namiton, kinsa ang dili. So ilahang qualification ipili ang number 1 kung kinsa tong pinaka-effective in lowering the viral load. Muna isang qualification. Ang isa, there should be lesser adverse effects. And ikatulo, ang best is katong mga walay prerequisites before administration. So, kanang mga dili kailangan with meals, mga walay adjustments, muna ilahang ipili as first line. Next will be your ibalizumab or a humanized monoclonal antibody. So, it binds to the CD4 extracellular domain. So, kani siya, it acts on your lymphocyte, hindering the conformational change needed for HIV entry. So this drug will disrupt the HIV fusion and it does not block the attachment to the CD4. So, pag-attach sa GP120, CD4, mag-conformational change mo na siya to allow fusion. So, kailangan iyahang gina-disrupt ang pag-change sa conformation to allow fusion. Ang entry, allowed attachment, allowed niya, pero ang fusion may dili. So again, for multi-drug resistant HIV gihapon, given sa mga last resort, ito mga resistant na sa other drugs. So administration, nakanay sa iha, IV infusion every 2 weeks lang ang interval. Then we have the common adverse effects. So again, clinical role, last resort agent for patients who have exhausted all other options. Next, we have an entry antagonist or entry inhibitor, which is our paravirong. So our paravirong is an allosteric antagonist of the CCR5 co-receptor, blocks the binding of HIV GP122 CCR5, preventing viral entry. So, very important in administering paravirong is that a tropism test is mandatory prior to administering. So, sa may meaning ng tropism test? So again, ang tuwang HIV, ang virus mismo, it has tropism, no, for either CXCR4 or CCR5 receptor. So, isa lang ang nasa ihaan na, CXCR4, CCR5. Now, kaning paravirong, effective lang siya kung ang HIV strain niya nasa imo will be R5 tropic. If CXCR4 siya, if X4 siya tropic or mixed tropism, dili magamit ang paravirong. Kaya useless naman iyahang function. Kung sa mix, na target nimo ang CCR5 pero wala nimo na target ang CXCR4. So nagyan taas gyapon nimo ang viral load ana. So dosing, so it has a drug-to-drug interaction with our CYP3A. So kaning CYP3A, mo ni siya ang pinaka-important nga drug-to-drug interaction. Daghan kaayo medications affected ani for our HIV, for our TB, for our neurodrugs. Mo ni siya ang pinaka-important nga drug-to-drug interaction. So a unique adverse effect of our Maraviroc is that it causes a dose or concentration-dependent orthostatic hypotension. Then, resistance will be a tropism shift from CCR5 to CXCR4 or from CCR5 to a mixed tropism. Next, we have enfubertide. Enfubertide is a fusion inhibitor. It binds to the HR1 domain of the GP41. So again, this acts on the virus itself, binds to GP41, preventing the fusion of the viral envelope to the host cell membrane. So the administration for enfubertide is a subcutaneous injection twice daily. So mura siya insulin, no? And because subcutaneous injection siya, we expect injection site reactions. Then, kung makita niyo sa HIV patients, they will have nodules or cyst formation or induration due to the frequent na subcutaneous injection. Next, let's focus sa NRTIs. So, ano siya ang backbone sa tuwang antiretroviral therapy, our nucleoside and nucleotide reverse transcriptase inhibitors. So the mechanism of action for the NRTIs is that it is a competitive inhibitor of the HIV-1 reverse transcriptase by incorporating into the viral DNA as chain terminators since it lacks the 3' hydroxyl group, halting the viral DNA elongation. So sa may mahappen ani. So we have, di ba, the virus as single-stranded RNA. Pag transcribe niya, may mo siyang DNA. Yung button, it will bind to the DNA. Because this is an NRTI or a nucleotide or a nucleoside, mura siya og adenine, mura siya og guanine, murag cytosine, murag, tinatayamin na isa. Mura siya kato mga nucleotides no, nga AGCT. So pag transcription, mo bind siya sa DNA nga gihimo sa reverse transcriptase. Pag bind niya sa tumoy, tungod kay wala siyang 3' nga hydroxyl group, walay makasumpay sa iyaha. So that leads to the chain termination which halts the DNA elongation. So katong viral DNA nga nahimo sa reverse transcription, dili siya viable. Kaya wala man siya natiwas sa reverse transcription. So antiviral spectrum, so mali siya nakachana sa NRTIs, munang kaniyang backbone because patients with HIV are usually has co-infection of hepatitis B and hepatitis C and are prone to other viral infections. So muna nakanay sa NRTIs because it has activity against hepatitis B. And one thing unique about the NRTIs is that they require intracellular phosphorylation before sila ma-activate into the triphosphate form. So ang exemption will be tenofovir, which only requires double phosphorylation or biphosphorylation. So general adverse effects, so we have mitochondrial toxicity, lactic acidosis and hepatic steatosis. Then we stop if mag-increase ang liver enzymes. There is progressive hepatomegaly and metabolic acidosis. So syempre, if sa board exam or sa exams ninyo, ang magawas ang mga unique magyud nga adverse effects. Now, drug resistance, I want you to take note of the M184B and K65R. So kaning duha, we'll be discussing this later on. Pero ang naka-unique ani is that kaning resistance ang M184B will lead to resistance to specific drugs but will allow other drugs to function better, or it increases susceptibility of other drugs. For K65R, Ang importance ani, it has cross-resistance to almost all the NRTIs except zidovudine. So muna naka-unique sa K65R na resistance. So first, let's talk about tenofovir. Tenofovir is the backbone of most regimens, no? So it occurs in two forms, the TBF and TAF. Ang difference is that the TAF has a safer renal or bone profile. Ang problem sa TBF, it causes nephrotoxicity and bone loss. So munang kaiwasan na ang TBF karon. It's approved for HIV, pre-exposure prophylaxis, and avoid use with didanosine as it increases the risk for pancreatitis. Next will be our M-tricitabine. So M-tricitabine is almost always paired with the tenofovir. Its unique adverse effect is that there will be skin hyperpigmentation in sun-exposed areas. It is active against hepatitis B. Then monitor hepatitis B virus kung stop nimo ang regimen. Now, do not combine with lamivudine because they have the same resistance profile, no additive effect, and mag-overlap lang ang toxicity. So, nani sila yung mga pairing, no? Tenofovir, M-tricitabine o lamivudine, pareho na sila. Tenofovir o abacavir, di ba na sila pwede mag-uban. So, it should be a combination of tenofovir or abacavir plus M-tricitabine or lamivudine because pareha sila of resistance. Now, kaning first two, muna siya yung dapat ma-remember because mo gini siya ang mga preparations nga first line karon. Sila duha along with your integrase strand inhibitor. Integrase strand transfer inhibitors. Next will be our abacavir. So it is used in patients with tenofovir intolerance. So dili siya replacement sa imuhang M-tricitabine. It is a replacement to your tenofovir. So sila ang pares, while your M-tricitabine yung pares will be the lamivudine. Now, ang adverse effects sa abacavir is that it causes severe hypersensitivity reaction. And in fact, kailangan ng HLA-B5701 na screening before using it. Just to make sure na hindi ka allergic sa iyaha because yung hypersensitivity is severe. Then, once hypersensitive ka ani, do not re-challenge. So, dili siya pareha sa shrimp, dili pareha sa chicken, na pag allergic ka, pwede mo, ang uban, mawala ng allergy kung magsige sila o kaon, hinahinayon nila o eat para ma-resistant sila sa allergy. For abacavir, bawal na siya buhaton because every hypersensitivity reaction ani is a life-threatening condition. So pag allergic ka ani, never na hindi siya pwede gamiton. Next, lamivudine is just like your M-tricitabine. It also has HIV and hepatitis B nga activity. Now, both of them, your lamivudine and your M-tricitabine, is susceptible to M184V mutations. So it gives high-level resistance to your, again, lamivudine and M-tricitabine. Now, kaning M184V na mutation, although ma-resistant ka sa lamivudine and M-tricitabine, kaning mutations will reduce the replication fitness of HIV. So, kung una na to, it makes the virus weaker. Although dili niya mawala yung effect, resistant na siya ang tambal, it makes the virus weaker. And it restores susceptibility to tenofovir and zidovudine. So that's why, kung makita nila ang M184V na mutation, dili nila stop ang lamivudine. I-continue lang gihapon nila tungod ani nga benefit. It decreases replication fitness of your HIV and tungod kay mas ma-restore ang susceptibility or let's say mas mapusok ang effect sa tenofovir and zidovudine. So ilan lang gina-maintain ang lamivudine despite the resistance. So again, the benefits will outweigh the risk. Next, we have zidovudine. So katong upat mo ito yung duduman lang NRTI sa tenofovir, emtricitabine, abacavir, and lamivudine. Muna sila mga very common karon. We have sidovudine, and sidovudine ako lang i-include because it is the first FDA-approved na antiretroviral agent. So muna siya ang antiretroviral sa mga karaang tao. Muna siya gigamit sa una. Nabagan din siya adverse effects like erythrocytic macrocytosis, nail hyperpigmentation, and ang pinakahadlok sa iya is bone marrow suppression. So dili siya pwede i-give kay ang blood cells, na blood cells will be affected, especially in those with pre-existing anemia or pre-existing granulocytopenia. Now, clinical pearl again, katong K65 mutation, resistant to all NRTIs except zidovudine. So muna iyang relevance. We have here the legacy NRTIs, your didanosine and stavudine. Muna siya ang mga few antiretrovirals ginagamit sa una, pero gi-remove na karon due to the adverse effects. Specifically, yahang pancreatitis na ginakos. Muna gi-phase out na gisunod. So, next will be our NNRTIs. So our NNRTIs are non-nucleoside reverse transcriptase inhibitors. So dili na siya murag ACGT, di na siya nucleotide, di na siya murag adenine, thymine, guanosine, cytosine. So it is a non-nucleoside reverse transcriptase inhibitor. So what does it do? It binds to an allosteric hydrophobic pocket on the P66 subunit of the HIV-1 reverse transcriptase, distant from the catalytic site, leading to conformational change, leading to reduced polymerase activity. This is non-competitive inhibition, no phosphorylation required, acting against HIV-1 only. So, sa may kuanani, sa may difference sa NRTIs, again, ang NRTI mobile sa viral DNA para mag-stop ang elongation. Kani siya, since non-nucleotide ba siya, hindi siya makabind sa DNA. Iyang buhaton, mubind siya sa reverse transcriptase mismo. Pero, dili sa catalytic site. Dito siya sa another site, another area, sa imong enzyme, your P66 subunit, and once mo-attach siya dito, it causes a conformational change, reducing the polymerase activity. So, dili na siya mag-elongate gihapon mo yung ending. Ma-reduce ang polymerase activity. So, consider differences with NRTI. No phosphorylation required. Allosteric binding, it doesn't bind to the active site. It is active against HIV-1 only, or the global pandemic na HIV, but not unlike the NRTIs na HIV-1 and 2, which makes it the better choice. And generally, yung mga side effects will be GI intolerance and skin rashes. And then resistance profile, muna akong ginaingon. The NNRTIs are highly susceptible to single mutation resistance. So isa lang kagamay nga mutation, automatic resistant. Isa lang ka missed dose ni mo ani. Mag-develop ng mutation, mag-resistance na sa imuhang NNRTI. So mo ang problem ani. Pero, nanay mga second generation ng NNRTIs, like your etravirine and your rilpivirine, which has a better resistance profile. Next, again, for the adverse effects, it can cause GI intolerance and skin rashes. It can cause hepatotoxicity, especially for nevirapine. So, muna siya mga black box warning, no? Do not use nevirapine because it causes your life-threatening or severe hepatotoxicity. Then, for efavirenz, another NNRTI, makakause siya of CNS na side effects. Then, there is a teratogenicity concern of the efavirenz during the first trimester. So, pani siya na-data sa inyo, maning Goodman and Gilman, dili pa ni siya updated. Because pero ng efavirenz, pwede na siya gamitin sa pregnant patients. So So drug interactions, so our NNRTIs are metabolized by the CYP450 primarily or CYP3A4. So pag CYP3A4, nagkakita na siya o drug-to-drug interactions. So efavirenz and nevirapine are CYP3A4 inducers or inducers siya, paspas ang breakdown. So it decreases the levels of many co-medications taken by the patient. So for example, kung naka-rifampin siya for TB, for example, naka-statin siya or naka-anticonvulsants siya for CNS problems, pwede siya ma-affect sa imuhang antiretroviral therapy. Now, our first generation ng NNRTIs would be the first efavirenz. So before, ang atuang combination was 2 NRTIs plus efavirenz. Pero again, tungod kay grabe siya kadali mag-resistance, napulihan na siya into your integrase transfer inhibitors. So efavirenz is very specific that it should be taken on an empty stomach. Because if taken with a high-fat meal, it will increase the bioavailability. So kung increase ang bioavailability, increase ang toxicity. Increase ang, again, unique for efavirenz is your CNS toxicity. It leads to dizziness, drowsiness, insomnia, nightmares, headache, and psychiatric symptoms. So ang psychiatric symptoms, nakapula na siya because that is the only CNS effect na hindi mo hulatan mo resolve. Once na psychiatric symptoms, discontinue efavirenz. Pero if mga minor lang, dizziness, drowsiness, insomnia, hulatan lang, mawala na siya in 4 weeks. Next, for pregnancy, before, di ba, gamit sa pregnant patients, but it is teratogenic if given within the first 8 weeks. So it is used with caution. But the 2024 guidelines shows that the incidence of teratogenicity in patients on efavirenz is not significantly different from those who are not taking efavirenz. So, although na difference sa incidence, pero hindi siya tinganakadako, and then the risk will outweigh the benefit kung i-discontinue mo siya. Ang problem ang good, for example, controlled na ka with efavirenz, nabuntis ka, kailangan mo siya i-change into another drug. Anyway, so mo to. Ang efavirenz, example, kung naka-control na ka with efavirenz, pag imo mo siya i-switch to another drug, na i-chance na mo saka ang viral load o wala imuhang effects imuhang tambal that will pose a higher risk than the risk of teratogenicity. So one point ani, gamay ra kayo ang difference sa teratogenicity on efavirenz and if wala efavirenz. So, the guidelines now support na i-give na lang gihapon kaysa musaka ang viral load again kung mag-switch pa ka. So, wala siya. Pero, sabayan mo counseling, syempre, imong ipikita ng patient kasi kung sa akong risk o sa punang risk kung tanggalan mong efavirenz para masabtan niya unsa ang trade-off niya ng buhaton, possible defects siyang bata, or worse, kung di siya control, magka-HIV ang bata pag gawas. So, ang YouTube defect, gamay na kayo siya na incidence. Then, you just have to emphasize the need for folic acid nga supplementation because that prevents the neural tube defects. Next, we have nevirapine. So, nevirapine, ang ato lang maingon ani is that it causes fatal hepatitis. That's why it is not used much anymore. So, black box warning, severe life-threatening hepatotoxicity and skin reactions. It can cause Stevens-Johnson syndrome or it can cause SJS or TN. Then you have to monitor liver enzymes for the first 18 weeks because again, it causes fatal hepatitis. Now, na yung mga bago, our second generation NNRTIs, they have a better safety profile. Walay liver toxicity, walay CNS side effects. So, the example will be rilpivirine. So, one of the best side effect profiles, it retains efficacy versus strains resistant to efavirenz. So, again, kung resistant na sa first generation NNRTIs, it doesn't mean nga resistant na po sa second generation. Ang second generation was developed to have a better adverse effect profile and a better resistance profile. So pwede pa mag-give o rilpivirine bisag resistant sa efavirenz. Pareho silang drug class, pero lahi silang generation. So lahi-lahi silang resistance profile. Now, administering your rilpivirine is critical because fasting decreases bioavailability and a high protein, low fat meal increases bioavailability by 50%. So it must be taken with meals. So what will happen kung mo siya i-take without meals? Ma-decrease ang bioavailability, dili ma-inhibit tanan reverse transcription, na ay mo survive ng mga HIV, mo mature, and then kato nga mga HIV are already resistant to your rilpivirine through the continuous exposure. Kasi na yung charger na Type-C for MacBook. Para po ay robot na siya. Okay, I see. So, bottle siya na, it should be taken with meals to prevent resistance. Now, avoid proton pump inhibitors because it will raise the gastric pH. Absorption is decreased in a basic or a less acidic environment, leading to treatment failure. For H2 blockers like ranitidine, it can be given if more than 12 hours apart ang administration. Adverse effect, depressive symptoms, elevated transaminases, and QT prolongation. Another second generation NNRTI will be our etravirine. For more common tong rilpivirine ha. Our etravirine is reserved for strains that have developed resistance to the first generation NNRTIs. So resistant advantages, it just shows na pwede siya gamitin bisag resistant na sa first generation because they have a different resistance profile. Then adverse effect will be rashes and a rare severe form will be your Stevens-Johnson syndrome. Now, ang problem ani ato ang etravirine is that it is metabolized by multiple enzyme systems like your CYP3A4, CYP2C9, 2C19, leading to multiple drug-to-drug interactions. So, mo ang problem sa NNRTIs. Effective siya, tsada siya, pero number 1, dali na siya magka-resistance. Number 2, daghan siya drug-to-drug interactions. So, this shows the different NNRTIs, nevirapine, efavirenz, etravirine, rilpivirine. Ang mga important lang nila is that, pag nevirapine, hepatotoxicity, pag efavirenz, CNS ang problem. Pag etravirine, it works in resistant HIV. So, if wala na, hindi na pwede sa first generation, pwede pa ang etravirine. Then rilpivirine same diapon, and it has a better adverse effect na profile. Next will be our integrase strand transfer inhibitor. So, discuss sa entry, no? Natay mga entry blockers, natay mga fusion blockers, natay reverse transcriptase inhibitors. Pero kung nakalusot pa din, nakahimo pa din siya DNA from the RNA, ang next na step i-inhibit will be the integration of your viral DNA into the host cell DNA. So our integrase inhibitors, actually the magnesium in integrase active site binding to the enzyme integrase, preventing the covalent strand transfer of the viral dsDNA into the host chromosome. So basically, ang incorporate sa viral DNA sa imong host cell mo, iyahan nga inhibit. Class adverse effects will be headache, GI effects. Ang unique aning integrase inhibitors will be the weight gain. Siya lang ang maka-weight gain sa lahat tanan. And siya lang ang maka-rhabdomyolysis. Now, kani siya, nagyan mo yung first generation and second generation. So, ang naka-nice aning mga integrase inhibitors no, kay dali na siya memorize, so kay na siya apelido. Basta mga Gravir integrase inhibitors. So, inyo na lang problema pag-memorize kinsay, NRTI, kinsay, NNRTI. Kailahi-lahi sila o apelido silang ngalan. So, at Raltegravir have no food requirements or restrictions. A high-fat meal can increase area under the curve, a low-fat meal can decrease area under the curve, pero regardless, with or without meals, effective siya because it doesn't have a narrow therapeutic index. Then what's unique, Annie, is that it is eliminated by glucuronidation and not the CYP3A4. So it has a fewer drug-to-drug interaction. Then, adverse effect is exacerbation of depression. Then our resistance, pag first generation, just like your NNRTIs, pag first generation, lower ang resistance barrier. Ang second gen, mas higher over resistance barrier. Pero the Raltegravir is used in pregnancy. So, before, Raltegravir yun ang ginagamit sa pregnant patients because it has the most safety data available. Pero karon with the recent updates, pwede na ito gamitin ang isa atong Dolutegravir. Hindi na kailangan mag-Raltegravir kung hindi na kailangan mag-shift kung pregnant ang patient. Next will be, first generation integrase inhibitor will be the Elvitegravir. It is a first gen INSTI that requires boosting. So, it is a co-formulation available only as Elvitegravir plus Cobicistat. So later on, we will discuss Cobicistat. No? Cobicistat is a pharmacokinetic booster. Iyang buhaton, i-decrease niya ang metabolism sa other antiretroviral drugs. So it must be taken with food and should not be given with significant renal impairment due to the NRTI component. And adverse effect is a COBI-related creatinine elevation. So Cobicistat can enhance your antiretroviral drugs but it can elevate your creatinine. Pero kanina elevation is a false elevation. It doesn't mean nga guba ang kidney. Pag nalani Cobicistat, usaka ang kriya. Pero it will become a confusion when renal injury is accompanied by the COBI-related creatinine elevation. Dili na ka-sure kung naguba ba ang kidney or tuod lang ba sa tambal. Next, mula ni siya ang ginagamit karon. Our second generation integrase inhibitor, Dolutegravir, is the WHO and the DHHS preferred in all patients. So mula ni siya ang bago nga partner sa NRTIs. So, duha ka NRTIs plus Dolutegravir. Because unlike the Elvitegravir, it has no food requirement, no CYP3A4 interaction, no boosting needed, so tsaka kaya siya, and it has a high resistance barrier, so which makes it very ideal for patients, no? Adverse effect, again, high weight gain, and neural tube defects in infants if taken during the first trimester of pregnancy. So, mali ang kong i-mention ganina no nga. Before, Raltegravir ang ginagamit sa pregnant patients because naghan studies about pregnancy ato. Pero karon, nalapoy study sa Dolutegravir. It shows nga ang risk sa neural tube defect will be 0.1% kung nag-Dolutegravir ka. Kung wala, the risk will be 0.05%. So ang difference is just so small na there is no need to shift your Dolutegravir to other drugs kung ma-pregnant. Because it will only put you at risk for an increased viral load. So once controlled na ka ni, na pregnant ka, ayaw na, hulihin. Just comply with your folic acid na supplementation because it can prevent the neural tube defect. So next would be hypersensitivity reaction and reversible increase in serum creatinine. Now, again, the update, dolutegravir is the WHO first line for all adults and children. And the DHHS, it says that it is already the preferred drug in all trimesters of pregnancy. So no need to change to raltegravir. Next, a second generation integrase inhibitor will be the bictegravir. It is a combination with Biktarvy is the brand, it's the number one prescribed antiretroviral regimen. It is bictegravir plus emtricitabine and recitabine plus your tenofovir. So one pill once a day, no CYP3A4 substrate, no boosting needed. So that's what makes it advantageous. It also has a higher resistance barrier. So either dolutegravir or your bictegravir will be the best choice. Again, adverse effect will be weight gain, one ang mga common, and there is a cation chelation, no? So antacids, so anything that contains magnesium, aluminum, calcium, ferrous, zinc, ka na mga 2+ ang charges, it should be separated by 2 hours before or 6 hours after administration of your Biktarvy. So comparing NNRTIs with INSTIs, because again, the old regimen, NRTI, 2 NRTIs plus 1 NNRTI. Then, ang bago, 2 NRTI plus 1 INSTI. Because INSTI has a higher resistance barrier, mas tiyada, mas tuloy mag-resistant, and it has a stronger viral suppression, which made it the new first line of therapy for HIV. Now, lastly, let's talk about protease inhibitors. So I will not be dwelling much on the protease inhibitors because dili kayo ni siya gamagamit. Mostly ani sa na nasa mga resistant strains na. O di na ma-NNRTI, dili na ma-integrase inhibitor, ay pa ni sila ginagamit along with the N3 inhibitors and fusion inhibitors. So for protease inhibitors, it inhibits the aspartyl protease. So it prevents the cleavage of the polyprotein into functional conformations leading to immature non-infectious virion. So again, ang last step is to cleave the protein para ma-mature siya, ma-effective siya. Pero muna ang pulos sa protease inhibitors. It prevents the cleavage. So next, we have what we call pharmacokinetic boosting. Muna itong i-mention ganina, no? Because ritonavir is a protease inhibitor. At a certain dose, like 600 milligrams BID, pag 600 milligrams ang dosage, it is an antiretroviral. Pero, if ang ritonavir is given at 100 milligrams, it only acts as a pharmacokinetic booster, not as an antiviral agent. So how do the boosters work? They are CYP3A4 inhibitors along with cobicistat. They are CYP3A4 inhibitors. Again, itong other antiretroviral drugs are metabolized by the CYP3A4. So, kung i-inhibit ang CYP3A4, dili siya ma-breakdown, leading to higher levels of the drug in the blood. That's why it's called a pharmacokinetic booster. Dili niya ipa-break down ang other antiretroviral drugs. Cobicistat is a better pharmacokinetic booster because it has no antiviral activity and greater specificity. Pero ang problem lang sa iya it can falsely elevate serum creatinine, but it does not really mean na decrease ang GFR. Now, since both boosters inhibit the CYP3A4, there is a major drug-to-drug interaction risk. So, avoid giving them in patients with, for example, midazolam, triazolam, fentanyl, because they have narrow therapeutic index. And they are substrates for your CYP3A4. So, kani sila nga mga medications, dili po sila ma-breakdown kung mag-take ka sa boosters. So, it can lead to toxic doses since it has a narrow therapeutic index. they have different na mga adverse effects as a class. So metabolic effects, GI intolerance, lipodystrophy, hyperglycemia, hyperlipidemia, insulin resistance. For cardiac effects, mga interval ng mga prolongations. Then, hepatic and renal, hepatotoxicity, nephrolithiasis, and indirect hyperbilirubinemia. So, we will discuss this later. So, ganing extrakinavir, wala na niya siya karoon kung ano yung adverse effect. Mga cause of torsanan po, so itanggal din siya na protease inhibitor. So first we have again ritonavir. So ritonavir is a antiretroviral drug at 600 milligrams but a pharmacokinetic booster at 100 milligrams. So adverse effect will be again GI rashes, and again it should be avoided in those with narrow therapeutic index na CYP3A4 substrates. Another key protease inhibitor will be your lopinavir. So na siya /R because your lopinavir is given in a fixed ratio with ritonavir. It requires a pharmacokinetic booster para ma-effective siya. Adverse effect will be GI, again, an increased cholesterol. And then, warning is that it contains ethanol. So if it contains alcohol, bawal siya i-give sa disulfiram na medications. Bawal siya i-give sa metronidazole because it will cause disulfiram-like reactions. So, muna di ba, kung nang bawal mag-inom nga naka-metronidazole. Next will be atazanavir. So, muna siya isa sa mga unique na protease inhibitors because talang adverse effects na sa iyaha. So, again, taken with food, pero kani siya maka-jaundice and maka-nephrolithiasis. Muna din siya preferred na protease inhibitor. Then lastly, we have darunavir. Again, it must be co-administered with a pharmacokinetic booster. Then it has a hepatotoxicity risk and it contains a sulfonamide moiety and risk in patients allergic to sulfa drugs. So again, kani sa tanan mga salvage therapy, ano sila? They are only given sa atong mga resistant na sa first line. So these are the other protease inhibitors nga discontinued na usually tungkol sa ilahang mga adverse effects. Now, let's talk about the clinical application. No? So, dili na mo dapat paminaw kung sa ning PrEP and kung sa ning PEP because important siya sa patient education. Nakadiscuss si Doc sa aning PrEP and PEP? Wala. So we have pre-exposure prophylaxis and post-exposure prophylaxis. So as soon as nakay o ikaw as a person kung kabalo ka nga nakay high-risk behaviors for HIV or high risk for acquiring HIV, dapat nakamag pre-exposure prophylaxis. Pero if example, ang risk kay sudden, for example, na little prick ka or na other factors, kailangan mag-post-exposure prophylaxis. So our pre-exposure prophylaxis are daily medications taken by HIV-negative individuals to reduce the risk of acquiring HIV. It has a more than 99% effective with consistent use. So, emphasis natin din is sa consistent use. Because your pre-exposure prophylaxis should always be taken on the same time of the day. Gamay lang nga delay or gamay lang nga delay sa imong pag-take ani, it can drastically reduce the effectivity sa iyahang transmission. Now, before taking pre-exposure prophylaxis, syempre, kailangan po ba HIV testing? Okay, what if positive ka and then nag-PrEP ka, imong giundangan, resistant na ka ato na drugs after. So again, dapat confirmed na HIV negative ang individual na mag-PrEP. Now, efficacy data shows it decreases by 99% the risk for HIV for sexual transmission as long as it is with consistent daily use. It decreases the risk by 74% among people who inject drugs. Now, indications for taking PrEP. So, katong na yung mga HIV positive partners. So, HIV positive, it doesn't mean nga wala na yung chance, wala na yung hope, because ang partner pwede mag-PrEP para dili siya ma-infect. At the same time, katong HIV positive na partner, mag-antiretroviral therapy po siya para untransmittable iyang infection. So, PrEP plus ART sa positive o PrEP sa negative, pwede rin yapon mag-interact. Now, isa pa yung langin dapat mag-PrEP, those with multiple sexual partners with inconsistent nga protection. So we encourage taking PrEP, so bisag kinsa, male, female, bisag kinsa nga na ay multiple sexual partners. Next, people who inject drugs and share needles or equipment. So kinsa man ni sila, katong mga ga-share of shave, ga-share of toothbrush, katong mga ga-inject o mga drugs o mga injectables, katong mga hiling acupuncture, hiling gluta-gluta, kana sila, kana mga hiling magpa-tattoo, kana wala ka kabalo nga reuse diya mga needles. So kana sila ang mga indications of taking PrEP, or any person at substantial ongoing risk, or kana MSM or men having sex with men with recent STI or high-risk exposure. So for HIV, always give emphasize ang MSM, nga naman, because the hook-up culture mo sa MSM is more, mas paspas siya, ano ito? Paspas siya, like, compared to heterosexual couples nga, digan pa kayo getting to know face, sabi mga yan na, sa MSM, manggod kay, automatic, more lang kuhan. So, wala siya. So what are our PrEP or mga PrEP preparations? Pre-exposure prophylaxis. So again, akong i-mention yun na, ang most important is ang duha ka NRTIs. So, our tenofovir and our M-tricytapine or your FTC. So it is taken 1 tab once daily, same time each day. Kung 9 a.m., 9 a.m. per day. Kung madali kang 10 a.m., 11 a.m., expect a decrease in its effectivity. Now, we also have on-demand 2:1:1 for MSM. Ano for MSM ang nakabutang ana? Because the study, ang research about ani is only for MSM ilang study. It doesn't mean na dili siya effective sa heterosexual, pero gi-emphasize na siya ng MSM kay mura ilang na part sa research. So, mo yung limitation. Wala ka study ang sa other ng mga genders or sex. So, for on-demand, 2 pills 24 hours before interaction, 1 pill 24 hours after the first dose, then 1 pill 48 hours after the first dose. Then continue daily until 48 hours after the last exposure. So, for example, kay appointment, kasi na kay appointment, ka na amoy interaction, sa March 10 lugar, let's say March 10 ang schedule. So sa March 9, mag-take na ka og 2 ka pills. So kung sa March 9, nag-take ka 9 a.m. 2 ka pills, sa March 10, on the day sa inyong appointment, mag-inom pa ka og 1 pill. Kung 9 a.m., 9 a.m. yapon ka the next day. Then, another pill, 48 hours after the first dose. So that's another 24 hours. So March 9, mag-take ka 2, March 10, take ka 1, March 11, take ka 1. So muna siya yung dapat nga pre-exposure prophylaxis. Then continue daily until 48 hours after the last exposure. Next, we have Descovy nga brand. So, the difference nila, it uses TAF. TAF has a safer bone and renal profile. So pareha sila, pero safer lang ang adverse effects. So isa man yung mga so isa man yung mga on-demand, no? So mga on-demand, muna sila katong mga undergo lang o mga, for example, encounters na scheduled, for example, LDR mo, magkita mo ani nga date, so imo siya mag-on-demand ka. Or for example, katong mga active lang during travel, so muna ilang chance, on-demand sila. Pero as far as I know, ang on-demand, hindi siya supported by the city health, no? So kung mag-prep tayo, usually, ilang pinasupport isang daily yun, regardless of activity. So it's like a promote ani on-demand na 2:1:1. Then next, we have the long-acting PrEP, the Apretude, which uses cabotegravir. So it is every 8 weeks or every 2 months na injection. Then, ang pinakabago, so it is a game changer for adherence because again, the problem sa PrEP is it should be taken every day and every same time of the day. Kaning Apretude or cabotegravir, it is only taken every 2 months. So it improves the adherence of the patient. Then bago karon the lenacapavir. So na siya mga trials in African women and MSM or with transgender women. So nakanice is that it is only a twice yearly injection every 6 months. So I think habit naman natin siya ma-approve sa Philippines because ang CHO at ang City Health Office kapangita na sila o enrollees for the PrEP and only kato mga enrolled silang PrEP na program ang maka-avail aning lenacapavir na twice a year lang na injection. So bottom line is the new drugs for PrEP address the barrier to PrEP success and that barrier to PrEP success is the daily adherence. So mo na ang problem sa mga PrEP. So next, after pre-exposure prophylaxis, we have post-exposure prophylaxis. Kung ang higayon wala di mo gi-expect, for example, ikaw mag-clerk na ka na, at pag-clerk na mo na, tusukan mong needle sa patient ka, unknown ang status. Dili po ninyo na pwede ipara ng HIV test without the consent of the patient. So ikaw ang managap. So you will take post-exposure prophylaxis. It is a 28-day course of ART taken after potential HIV exposure. It must start within 72 hours. Then, the earlier you start, the better the efficacy of your post-exposure prophylaxis. So, indications, again, same lang yapon. Unprotected nga interaction, needle stick or sharp injury. So again, itong kanalagay pag-clerk na mo or nurses mo, kanang maning common needle stick injury. Sharing needles or drug equipment, sharing mga razor blades, sharing mga toothbrush, or sexual assault, itong mga, for example, mga women assaulted randomly, and then kana sila. And any mucous membrane or skin breach with easily contaminated material. So again, kana sexual assault is not limited to male to female, female to male. It can also be male to male and female to female. So for post-exposure prophylaxis, timing is critical. It should start within 72 hours. Again, the earlier the better. Beyond 72 hours, it is not recommended. Di na mo impact kung beyond 72 hours na. Then, a complete 28-day course is required. If you stop in the middle, it can lead to post-exposure prophylaxis failure. Then just like your pre-exposure, an HIV test is required before initiating. Then retest 4 to 6 weeks and 3 months after completion. Now, the preferred regimen for our post-exposure prophylaxis will be a triple therapy. So same lang yapon, tenofovir plus emtricitabine, dayon ma-add na ang integrase inhibitor, which is your dolutegravir. If wala dolutegravir, we add raltegravir. Now, counseling points. So, PEP is not a substitute for PrEP. So again, prevention, Silang duha prevention man, but preventing the prevention and PrEP will always be better. Then counsel on consistent protection use during the post-exposure prophylaxis course. Then monitor for side effects. Follow up, visit at day 3 to assess tolerance and adherence. And then there will be HIV, RNA, or antigen test 4 to 6 weeks post-exposure. So heavily monitored ang post-exposure prophylaxis na naagyoy at day 3 assess tolerance and adherence. Ano man? Because kung dili na tolerate with the patient, for sure, undangan maginan niya. Pero kung undangan niya, then for example, di positive BDI siya, ma-resistant na siya atong iyahang giting. So that's why mag-follow up kit after 3 days para ma-assess din sa doctor kung okay ang patient silang tambal para ma-shift to other medications kung dili siya muangay sa iyahang triple therapy. Now, key takeaways: start ART immediately in all HIV patients, regardless of CD4 count or viral load. Now, our integrase strand inhibitors preferred first line due to high efficacy, tolerability, and resistance barrier. Our NRTIs leads to chain termination, and then RTIs inhibit the reverse transcriptase. So different ilahang mechanism of action. So pwede isabay ang NRTI o NNRTI. And then pharmacokinetic boosters sa massive CYP3A4 na drug-to-drug interaction and cobicistat, phosphorylases creatinine. Then again for abacavir required ang hypersensitivity testing for the gene HLA-B5701. Then long-acting injectables have paved the way or has transformed the treatment and prevention of HIV because it addresses the problem, which is the adherence. So instead of daily dosing, it is every 2 months or every 6 months. Then again, undetectable doesn't mean undetectable means untransmittable, but it doesn't mean that HIV has been cured. And lastly, never stop HBV active ARVs without a plan. So kung positive for hepatitis B, ayaw basta-basta stop up antiretroviral drugs because it will lead to hepatitis flare, which is mamatay na noon siya tungkol sa hepatitis, dili tungkol sa iyang AIDS. So that's it. So I'm gonna reference again Goodman and Gilman and yung mga clinical guidelines from WHO. So that's all. Are there any questions? May questions? By the way, ang City Health, ang pangitag enrollee sila ang pre-exposure prophylaxis ha. So, pwede mo mga dito. Then, tsaka siya nga, at least karon libre na siya, no? And accessible to everyone. So, asa man mga PrEP, number 1, CHO. Pero din kilid, pwede rin yung agian, mas yung klase. City Health, or pwede po sa NMMC na hack dito. Kanang hack mo na siya ang gina-lead ni Dr. Salon. So, siya ang na. Sige, na yung mga questions. Na. Sige. So, that's all. Any question? Wala, sige.